Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whatever time it is. I hope you are having a good one. Welcome back to House Flipper 2 with Rash Decision. If you enjoy this type of content, please leave me a like, subscribe, and maybe even a comment to let me know. Enjoy the video. Actually going to be it for this one. This one came up really quickly. Oh, I actually see where I messed up the thing up there. Let's go ahead and fix that really quick while I talk a little bit about what's going on here. So this one actually kind of surprised me with how quickly it went through, and I think it's because I didn't change everything about it. I just kind of kept everything the same and just worked with what I had, mostly because I didn't really disagree with much of anything until I got to the end, after I'd already done quite a bit of modeling and got everything kind of settled. That was kind of when I realized, wait a second, there's 2 bathrooms and only 1 bedroom. Whoops. If I had realized that before I got too far into it, I probably would have repaired it, done something a little bit different. I even had the idea of actually putting in, say for example, like an efficiency apartment in the basement. But after I got looking at the layout of the basement, I decided that wasn't the best move for that space. Now, I probably could have knocked out this inner wall, but the size of this basement doesn't really lend, especially the shape, doesn't lend too awful well to that idea. The other problem is I've already broken into like the area of this basement, the outside of this, and found that the lay of the land actually makes the wall, the ground come up to about halfway up this wall, just like you would see out here. This is the actual level of the ground going all the way across. So I didn't really have a great option for increasing the size of this room. I could have tore out this wall right here and done something a little bit different with it there, but I chose not to, simply for brevity of this particular video series. As I said before, I'm just trying to get through these really small ones, get them knocked out, get them done, get to the big ones so that I can take my time and do the big ones really well. And I love this concept idea that I have here, where I'm using all of the time available. Instead of doing an intro and outro for each individual video, I'm able to just get to it and get a lot more done in every video. So here in the I'm sorry, I started to say here in the bathroom. Good Lord, I'm very tired. Here in the kitchen, we have our pantry over here to the left. We've got everything stocked. Everything looks nice. Got a plant up on the side, give it a little bit of a different color. It is very colorful, isn't it? All of the pantries do end up being very colorful. I really wish we had more options for things to place, like pantry items. But unfortunately we don't, so I have to kind of work with what I have. This is how I decided to do the kitchen. What I really wanted to do is actually put in cove lighting up top, but by the time I realized I wasn't going to be able to get to the top, I didn't want to knock out holes in the ceiling just to get my head up a little bit higher. So chalk it up to a loss. I really didn't want to spend the time to have to knock the holes in the ceiling and then replace them and repaint them, etc., etc. So we're just going to kind of work with it. It is a very nice accent, even though I didn't do that. It did come out to be a very nice accent. In the future, if I come up to a kitchen where that has like that extra 8 inches of height, I'll probably do it just so that I can have that cove lighting, because I do really love the idea of cove lighting. I've always wanted to do it in my house. I probably will in my new studio. That's going to be very much something that will be done. If you notice, a lot of the windows are bare, and a lot of that has to do with just the placement of the walls beside it. Like this one really could use a curtain. It'd be perfect for it, but it doesn't really need it as far as the composition of the room, because the dining room here is very, very simple. In fact, this seems more like a breakfast nook. I did entertain the idea of actually building out a bench right here, like building the bench and then placing one of the size changeable pillows, but it chose not to. Just threw it down to the table and chairs. Okay, let's get it done. There, done. Excellent. Over here, wonderful little utility. Sorry to say utility closet. It's not a utility closet. It is a storage closet. I'm really not on my game today. But anyway, I got a vacuum in there, a couple coats, nothing special. It doesn't have to be special, not for this one. In here, I was trying to build it out as a living room, and I really, really wanted to. Moving the door from there to there made this such a wonderful room, made this area over here so wonderful, but it broke its ability to be a living room. And I do apologize. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this word correctly. I've heard it both foyer and foyer, and I think it might be a difference of like English and French pronunciations. I'm not exactly 100% sure there. So if I am pronouncing it incorrectly, I do apologize. The first time I ever heard it in my life, it was pronounced as foyer, which it may have been just pronounced incorrectly at the time, but it's what I've always heard it as. So a friend of mine was watching me kind of put all this together in real time in my Discord, and he just said it looks absolutely terrible as a living room, and it is no longer a living room, it is a foyer. And I kind of, that stuck with me. I've never heard that pronunciation, but when I looked into it, he is actually correct. It is most likely pronounced foyer, but when I was doing my research, I found it both ways, so I'm not exactly certain what's going on there. Either way, he is correct. There are too many portals in this room. This room literally is just a portal room that goes everywhere else. So, yeah, and I actually let that meld into the room itself. So this room uses like this wonderful misty green. And I'm sure you noticed I was having a bit of a fight with myself over what color, what particular shade of green to use. And then I realized, wait a minute, it doesn't matter. Why do I care? And just threw it down and said, it looks fine. So I have the misty green here. I have that wonderful, like, I don't even know what you would call this, like vanilla. This nice vanilla brown. And then through there you see like the peeking through the Carolina blue. And then over here you have like the flowers and the white accents with the wood. So it actually works really, really well because you can see into the rooms that you're pulling from. And because they have such nice distinctive colors, it works really well just in this room. And of course, I tried to use just some faded pictures that kind of pull all the colors together. I just noticed I forgot to turn down the brightness on these. We'll go ahead and we'll do that because it's kind of blowing out on my screen. I don't know if it is on yours, I'm sure it is, but I like that much better. It's a much softer light. And of course I have the orchid over here that kind of blends into the flowers over there. I have the flowers, of course. I have a lot of blues that kind of come into here. Has that faded sepia tone, which kind of fades into this. And of course the wood grain frames that work with the kitchen. I wanted this room to kind of bring everything together. So of course it has the shoe cabinet. Of course it has like, you know, the storage shelf that just kind of, everything lives on this shelf kind of shelf. I have to run out a scooter. I saw this in the object catalog and I was just like, you know what? Sure, have a scooter. These people have a scooter now. They have a scooter in their foyer. So over here, I loved this idea right here. This was, if you remember, the front steps were right there. I changed that. We'll get out there just a moment and talk about it. This was the entrance landing, I guess is the best way to put it. So the front door was here, had a single window there, and we had like the hat rack and the coat rack and dressing area, mud room kind of situation going on right here. I changed that because I felt like this was a wonderful little spot to put a miniature study, and that's what I did, and I am so happy with it. I am elated with this right here. I am absolutely elated with it. I cannot get enough of this. The next thing, let's see. Yeah, we don't need to go outside just yet. We'll go in here. This was a bathroom, and it was when I was placing in this bathroom that I realized that there's no bedroom that goes with this bathroom, and that kind of frustrated me. I didn't have a good place to even put one in, and even if I did, it would have to be like in the basement. So the basement would have had to have its own bathroom anyway. So I just went ahead and put in the bathroom, kept everything together, and we're just gonna say this is a guest bathroom. That's all we're gonna say, and we're gonna ignore any opposition. How about that? We're just gonna ignore all the opposition. But anyway, the shower came out really nice. Have the wood grain frame and delineation between the marble tile and the flowery wallpaper. This wallpaper I wasn't quite sure was gonna work, but then when I saw it kind of next to the marble, it just somehow works. I can't really explain it. It's like the pattern recognition part of my brain is being activated and it says, "Ooh, good." So we're just gonna leave it. It looks fine to me. I can't explain why. So as we go upstairs, of course, we have ourselves the picture hallway that everyone has on some property somewhere. This right here was part of the reason I couldn't put a this exact decoration in the dining room. I thought about coming back and taking it down, but it's fine. It's fine. Then as we come up into the bedroom, I kind of imagine this being a little bit more of an effeminate house. So of course we have like the more effeminate sheets and the more effeminate colors here, and then the walls are I put them in the deep blue because I was kind of experimenting with using this kind of color combination, and then I realized like, wait a second, I do this all the time. And I got kind of frustrated with myself. That's why I threw this room together and kind of got out of it as quickly as I could. But it still came out really nice, even though it is not the experimentation that I really wanted it to be. I'm really sad that this is actually the only TV and entertainment area of the house. Because this is in a private area, you wouldn't really want guests coming up here watching TV with you if you had somebody over, something like that. So this is more of a private residence kind of house that isn't very guest friendly, even though there's a guest bathroom. But in here, in the private bathroom, of course, I took a little bit more time with the layout in here, mostly because I couldn't really decide how to do this. The bathtub was going to be a thorn in my side. No matter how I did it, I wanted to put a shower in here, but I knew I was going to have to change the roof if I did. So I just left it as a bathtub, just kind of over here in the nook. And it actually ended up pretty nice. This is a bathroom I could actually see somebody walking into a potential home buyer walking into a house, seeing this bathroom, and absolutely falling in love with it. It's one of those kinds of bathrooms that it's simple, it's straightforward. It doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles, but that means that there's a lot of customization options for it. So that's why I actually added in this nice little cabinet over here that has, all the toilet paper on one side and it has like all the toiletries on the other side, just kind of the personal touches is what I'm kind of trying to allude to there. I wasn't sure if that was getting across or not. So let's go ahead, we'll go downstairs, we'll go outside, we'll talk about that out there. That'll be the last part of it as we finish out this particular series. So we're going to go outside, and over here, this is the big change that I made outside. Of course, it was just this little path leading up to a set of stairs that went up onto the porch. And I closed that off, and I actually made this round all the way around those plants. And of course, this actually goes over to the side and now comes up this direction to access the door here. And the reason I changed that is, if you notice, there's no covering over top of this area, and this is where the door used to be. And having like this recessed area that goes into the mud room, it was lovely, it was, but I wanted the covering, so I moved it over here into the covering, so that it has this nice long extra porch that it actually does something now. It actually does something, except for just being just a long and delineated porch. Like previously, this was blocked off. Wait, no, did I not? I don't think I placed this. So I think it was just kind of a throughput. So it just kind of spilled out here into the side yard, and that's really all it did. But now it is actually the main steps, and it lets you access a little bit more of the feature set that's available with this house. I'm sure it would be better to have the steps on this side because that's where the driveway is, but there wasn't enough room to just put it straight down this side, so I kind of had to rely on this side to do that for me. But that's actually going to be it. I didn't make any other changes that I can think of. I kept it pretty well straightforward, as simple as possible. The green and white on the outside, that was a little bit of an experiment, and I'm kind of glad I did because I was really inspired by the dark blue clapboard that I did for the beach house, and I decided to take a chance, just roll the dice with like dark green, just throw something out there and see if it works, and it did. I'm really happy with how this house came out, and I hope everyone else that is watching this video is also happy with how it came out. Have a good one, my dudes. Cheers.